He risked everything for the alien princess, only to awaken to a shocking scene, Captain. Jake Miller had seen many worlds during his time with the Earth Defense Force, but nothing prepared him for the beauty of Princess Zara from the planet Zerion. The tall blue-skinned woman with silver hair flowing like liquid starlight had been captured by the brutal Korthak Empire during a diplomatic mission. Jake watched from his cell on the enemy ship as guards dragged the princess past his prison. Liu had been caught trying to steal intelligence about Korthak weapon systems. Now both humans and Zerions faced the same terrible fate. The princess moved with grace, even in chains. Her large violet eyes met his for just a moment, and Jake felt something stir in his chest that had nothing to do with duty or honor. She was magnificent and completely alone among enemies. When the guards left, Jake worked on the lock of his cell using tools hidden in his boot. Within an hour, he was free. Moving through the dark corridors of the ship, he found the princess in a heavily guarded detention block. Lisa Wong, his fellow officer and best friend, had taught him basic Zerion language during their academy days. Jake whispered the few words he knew through the energy barrier of her cell. Princess Zara looked up in surprise. Her musical voice carried hope as she replied in broken English that she understood him. She explained that the Korthaks planned to execute her at dawn to send a message to her. Jake knew the rescue was nearly impossible. The ship held thousands of enemy soldiers and they were deep in Korthak space. But looking at the princess, he realized he would try anyway. Something about her sparked a fire in his soul that made him willing to risk everything. He disabled the prison systems using his military training and freed Princess Zara. Together, they moved through the ship, avoiding patrols and security drones. The princess proved surprisingly capable in combat using strange energy weapons that materialized from her jewelry. They fought their way to the shuttle bay where Jake had spotted an escape pod earlier. Princess Zara stayed close to him as they ran, and he could smell her alien scent like flowers mixed with ozone. It made his heart race in ways he did not expect. The escape pod was small, barely big enough for two people. As alarms blared throughout the ship, Jake powered up the engines while Princess Zara sealed the hatch. They launched just as Korthak fighters began pursuing them. Jake pushed the little ship to its limits, weaving between asteroids and debris. The princess worked the navigation system with incredible skill, guiding them toward a nebula where the fighters could not follow her hands. Brushed his as they worked together, and electric sparks seemed to jump between them. Inside the nebula, they were safe, but the pod was damaged. Jake realized they might drift for days before rescue came. Princess Zara sat beside him in the tiny space, and they talked about their worlds and dreams. She told him about Zerion, where crystal cities reached toward twin suns, and her people lived for centuries in harmony with nature. Jake shared stories of Earth with its blue oceans and green forests. The princess listened with wonder, calling humans brave and noble. As hours passed, Jake found himself falling for this alien woman. Her laugh was like music, and her courage matched any soldier he had known when she touched his hand to comfort him. About their situation, he felt his pulse quicken. Princess Zara admitted she had never met a human before but found Jake fascinating. She said his people were famous throughout the galaxy for their determination and refusal to give up even when facing impossible odds. The princess moved closer to Jake in the cramped pod. Their faces were inches apart, and he could see starlight reflected in her violet eyes. She whispered that if they died here, at least they would die free. Jake felt drawn to her. Like gravity pulling him toward a beautiful star, time seemed to stop as they leaned toward each other. Jake closed his eyes as their lips met. The kiss was electric, sending waves of sensation through his entire body. Princess Zara tasted like starlight, and her skin was warm despite its blue color. When they broke apart, the princess smiled, and Jake knew he would follow her anywhere in the galaxy. She was no longer just a mission or a diplomatic objective. She had become the center of his universe. In just one day, the princess curled against Jake as they waited for rescue. Her breathing slowed and became steady. Jake held her close, feeling protective and complete for the first time in his life. Outside, the nebula swirled in patterns of purple and gold like a cosmic painting. Jake dozed fitfully, still holding Princess Zara. He dreamed of walking with her through crystal gardens on Zerion and showing her the mountains of Colorado where he grew up. In his dreams, they were happy and free. From war, something woke Jake with a start. The pod felt different somehow. Princess Zara was still in his arms, but she was not moving. He called her name softly but got no response. Fear filled his heart as he checked for her pulse. Princess Zara was breathing but would not wake up. Jake shook her gently, then more urgently. Her violet eyes remained closed and her body felt strangely cold. Panic set in as he realized something was terribly wrong. The pod systems showed they had been drifting for 3 days, much longer than Jake remembered. Emergency lights cast strange shadows as he tried everything to wake the princess. Nothing worked and his medical scanner showed readings he could not understand. Jake noticed something else disturbing. The princess looked different somehow. Her blue skin seemed more pale and her silver hair had lost its shimmer. Even her scent had changed from flowers to something metallic and wrong. Fear turned to horror as Jake realized the truth. Princess Zara was not unconscious. She was changing. Her breathing became mechanical and her skin felt artificial. Jake scrambled backward in the tiny pod, his heart pounding with terror. The thing that looked like Princess Zara opened its eyes, but they were not violet anymore. They glowed red like burning coals, and when it smiled, Jake saw rows of sharp metallic teeth. Its voice was no longer musical but harsh and grinding. It spoke in perfect English, now telling Jake that Princess Zara had died days ago on the Korthak ship. This was something else wearing her form like a disguise. It had been studying Jake, learning about humans through his memories and emotions. Jake reached for his sidearm, but the creature moved faster than anything should. Its hand shot out, gripping his wrist with crushing force. It explained that it was a Korthak bioweapon designed to infiltrate and destroy enemy worlds by mimicking their most trusted allies. The fake princess laughed as Jake struggled helplessly, had recorded everything about him and would use that knowledge to infiltrate Earth. The creature would wear his face next, convincing his friends and commanders to trust it while it planted weapons that would destroy humanity. Jake realized with growing horror that he had doomed his entire species. His love for the alien princess had blinded him to the trap. The real Princess Zara had probably never existed at all, just bait to capture a human officer. The creature pressed closer to Jake, its red eyes burning with malicious intelligence. It whispered that humans were so predictable, always rushing to save others without thinking of consequences. Their nobility would be their downfall, as the bioweapon began its transformation into Jake Miller. The last thing the real captain saw was his own face looking back at him with alien hatred. Soon the creature would return to Earth, wearing his identity, and his ship would welcome it home. The rescue beacon activated automatically as programmed, and within hours an Earth Defense Force cruiser arrived to collect what they believed was their missing captain. The thing wearing Jake Miller smiled and waved at his rescuers as they brought it aboard. Back on Earth, Captain Amy Rodriguez welcomed her old friend home. She noticed Jake seemed different somehow, more distant and cold, but attributed it to his ordeal. The debriefing went smoothly, and soon the fake Jake had access to Earth defense systems. The real Jake Miller died in that escape pod, but the creature kept his body as a reminder of how easy it had been to fool humanity. Now it walked among humans, learning their weaknesses and preparing for the final assault that would end their species forever. The Korthak Empire had won without firing a single shot, and humanity never saw it coming.